Yo, what up guys? We're getting closer, so check this out. I've got something new, a theory as to why the Night King is back, at least why now. And the reason is because of good old Ned Stark. So after I finished yesterday's video about all Starks being descendants of the Night King, I threw on Harry Potter Episode 3, The Prisoner of Azkaban. And in the beginning, someone tells Harry not to say his name, the bad guy, the V word. And it clicked. We hear the same thing in A Song of Ice and Fire, from Melisandre. Melisandre's a red priest, so she believes in some fake god called R'hllor, and that faith is based around hate. Hate of another fake god, whom they call the Great Other. At times, she refers to that god as he whose name must not be spoken. So maybe, just maybe, saying his name is a spell. Maybe saying his name was a summons. It woke him up. We'll get back to this, but first, let's look at Jon. Rhaegar, the real Azor Ahai, created Lightbringer, a son named Aegon Targaryen, A Song of Ice and Fire, but Ned pretended Jon was a bastard and called him Snow. And to hide his identity from King Robert, since Aegon would have had a claim to the throne, Ned honored his surrogate father, Lord Jon Arryn of the Vale, and gave Aegon a new name, Jon. So from then on, people have been throwing around the name Jon Snow over and over. In yesterday's video, we explained why we think that the Night King's name is Jon Snow. The story of Bael the Bard paints a picture of a man kidnapping a Stark girl, giving birth to a bastard. Well, not all the stories. That's the version south of the wall.
We free folk have our stories too.
The version the free folk know is a little different. Bael didn't kidnap the Stark girl, they were lovers, paralleling Rhaegar and Lyanna. So Bael and the Stark girl had a bastard, who I propose was named Jon Snow, who also became Lord Commander of the Night's Watch, the 13th Lord Commander, the legendary Night's King, and his name was banned, his records erased. Why? Because just like our Jon Snow, the Night's King fell in love with another. History and lore paints the Night's Queen as a White Walker, as a demon, but for all we know, the history is a lie, because that's what the winning side does. It rewrites history to make its cause seem more just, to make its heroes seem more righteous, more heroic. His lover may have just been a girl born on the wrong side of the wall, a free folk girl, or as prejudiced Southerners call them, a wildling girl in other.
I have the blood of the first men. My ancestors lived here, same as yours.
So why are you fighting us?
It's the same thing over and over, people putting up walls, figurative and physical, and looking at the others as the enemy, embracing hate instead of love. So let's recap. The 13th Lord Commander was called the Night's King. He was cast down by his brother, Brandon the Breaker. Why? Because he loved someone, another, whatever that means, maybe a White Walker, maybe a free folk. What happened next is unclear. History and lore says that he declared himself king and his wife his queen. So obviously, the King of the North, his brother, was not cool with that. The tales say he sacrificed to the others and was a bad dude. But of course the songs say that. The songs are written to gain favor at the table of the winning side.
We'll never sing it again. I swear.
Tell me, which do you favor? Your fingers or your tongue?
So we don't really know what happened. We don't know when he was converted into a White Walker. Maybe the Night's Watch were originally so-called good White Walkers south of the wall. Maybe they created the wall in the first place, or maybe he was converted into a White Walker after he fell in love with one. As YouTuber Officially Gaming points out, the mountain in the background of the scene where the Night King was created looks like the same Arrowhead Mountain that Sandor saw in the Fire Visions. This mountain's a few miles north of Eastwatch by the sea, so it's pretty close to the wall. He was either converted after joining the Night's Watch, or maybe as part of a process of becoming a sworn brother of the Night's Watch, serving for life, eternal life, without a lover. That'd suck.
You're a pretty lad. Girls would claw each other's eyes out to get naked with you. And you think you're free? You swore some stupid oath, and now you can never touch a girl.
It was my choice to say the words.
Someone tried to tell us we couldn't lie down as man and woman. We'd shove a spear up his ass.
So you don't like girls?
Of course I like girls.
But you chose never to touch them.
No wonder you're all so miserable.
But we don't have details on this, and the stuff we've told may be lies. To make the Starks seem more heroic, more valiant than they really were. The true story may have just been that there was a dispute over land. What we do know is that the Night's King's record was erased and his name was banned. On top of that, Melisandre calls him he whose name must not be spoken. So this brings us back to the summoning theory. This might be a hint that Ned messed up. He covered up a love story with the name Jon Snow, which just so happens to be the Night King's name. And now that his name has been said, winter is coming. But it's a reoccurring fantasy trope. We get it in Harry Potter, and we get it in Lord of the Rings. So as fun as this would be, it's pretty high fantasy and it's a trope. My guess is that it's more of just a nod to J.R.R. Tolkien than anything else. The name Jon Snow is not why the original Jon Snow is back, but the person is. The Valyrians were known for incest, but the Faith of the Seven thinks that that's wrong. Maybe, just maybe, it was actually a safety mechanism. Maybe they knew that their own blood, their own fire, the dragon's fire, should not be mixed with blood of the Starks. For if it is, it would bring fire, a term often used to represent life, to ice. So Jon Snow's name might not be the reason the Night King is now woke, but Jon's blood very well might be. The original Jon Snow was back. It's like a Blackfire type rebellion for the Starks, because he was a Stark bastard. The Starks killed his lover, and the North remembers.